So, I was hacked. And this is going to be a much more longer version in comparison to the short that I had created, which is both a culmination of some of my personal feelings towards you guys, which I deeply appreciate each and every one of you for reaching out and following me over on Twitter, joining the Discord, and doing everything you did to make sure I was okay. Deeply appreciate that. However, we do need to talk about the other end of this, and I think that there's a little bit more of a learning lesson that I want people to kind of take away once this video is over. So allow me to also provide a slight timeline of things that had happened, and then we'll go ahead and jump into some of my own personal speculations and opinions. So, on November 2nd at 3:16 p.m., I received an email through my recovery email that I use for this channel. And it had told me that somebody had gotten into my account. Basically, this is the first warning step of whenever somebody logs in, or if I was to log in, that is slightly abnormal. Quite luckily, this is something that you could catch at the first moment, and you can completely flatten out in the first moment of that. However, what I didn't realize is that this was skirting a sub-variable that is somebody changing my phone number from my phone number that I use for this channel because I only have one cell phone, and then changing it over to another cell phone number, which allowed them to bypass the two-factor authentication. By that point, I had received 3 more emails. One, that the two-factor authentication had been removed, that the 2 recovery emails that I have, because I always have another backup email just in ever the case, has also been removed along with the one that I was using, as well as the password being changed. This culmination of situations had completely been done in 3 minutes. By 3:18 p.m., I was completely locked out of my account. It wasn't until about 30 minutes to an hour later was a live stream posted on this channel promoting a crypto scam, subsequently also promoting a Tesla live stream that would be completely done by Elon by him fucking self. But let's be honest, the fact that it was a hack, a lot of people did not know that it was a hack, and people became very confused and hyper aware of the whole situation as to why am I seeing this in my subscriptions and why am I seeing this in my recommendations. Over 20,000 people had watched that live stream at once in pure disarray and confusion, and thus began the process of people reaching out to me over on Twitter, as well as Discord, as well as a lot of my own personal private friends from reaching out to me about the fact that I had been hacked. The fact of the matter is, I had seen the hack as it was coming because I was writing my emails out to get paperwork done for some projects, and they had all just popped up so randomly, I personally couldn't stop them in time. I saw the hack happen as it happened. And there is nothing more terrifying than that. In light of the situation, I had to drum up some support, not only on Twitter, but amongst other personal friends who are a lot more closer onto YouTube, in order to try and get information to figure out how to circumvent the situation and recover my account. Quite luckily, my friend, Dai Tomodachi, was more than willing to send me a link in order to reach out to people over on YouTube, and we started a chat. They gave me a form to fill out, and thus began the process of trying to recover my account to the best of our ability with the amount of information I gave them. This process was nerve-wracking, mainly because there were parts in that form that I would not have immediate access to, considering that the account that I had just gotten hacked and locked out of had that information. That is very stress-inducing, but quite luckily with YouTube support, Ray, if you're listening and watching, you helped me kind of just tell me whatever it is that I can provide you with all the information that I do have on hand. They were able to try and help me to the best of their ability, to which they did. Keep in mind, whilst I'm going to be very appreciative of YouTube, and I really am, there are things that I will have to criticize YouTube for a little bit later in this video. At a certain point in all of this, the live stream had gone on for close to about 6 hours, somewhere between 3 to 4 p.m. all the way up until 9:58 p.m. And at that point, YouTube finally went in and terminated the channel. The channel had been using a scam link in order to scam people out of their money through cryptocurrency, and thus is the reason why the channel got terminated. After I had gotten my email back earlier this morning, somewhere around 11 a.m. Pacific time, I was finally able to access my email. I was able to reach out to YouTube as to why my channel had been terminated, and subsequently I had managed to get my channel back within the next few hours, and thus the process began in basically unprivating all my videos, because mass deleting videos can actually flag your channel to say something had been hacked. So quite luckily, none of the videos have been deleted. I had initially thought that they had been deleted. Quite luckily, they aren't. All they did was private the videos, to which all I did was just set them back to public. There are probably a few videos that are going to remain missing, mainly because there are videos that honestly I feel like have not stood the test of time, but quite luckily all my abridging content is back up. What were my feelings as I was going through this? Because there are quite a few things that I need to discuss about this, because YouTube is something that I have made a career out of. Over the course of the past 7 years, I have mainly focused on YouTube and creating content here on YouTube and trying to achieve my goals to making this an absolute full-time job without needing to do sound effect design or voice acting in order to kind of supplement my living costs. But mentally, this is very, very bad for me, because what it did is that it sent me into a state of manic and panic. With the fortunates of hanging out with my girlfriend the majority of the night before she ended up going to bed, she was keeping me calm this entire time, because I was extremely sensitive. I did not want people touching me. I did not want people ultimately talking to me. I was very snippy, and that kind of thing, it can be very bad when you're trying to handle what is a very private to social situation. And getting as much support as all of you guys have given me, there was always this essence that I'm about to lose everything. Quite luckily, many of my friends had told me that they have gotten their channels back in the past, and quite luckily they have. And one of those people was none other than Dai Tomodachi. Dai Tomodachi I have been working with for several years now. He is one of my best friends. He's on my D&D game. I work with him on Kakyoin Waifu Connoisseur. I'm one of his sound designers from here and there. But one of the big things is that he had recently lost his channel as well, which he subsequently had to deal with these emotions as well. These kinds of emotions where you feel like you're about to lose everything after you've spent years of your life building, it can come off as this feeling of hopelessness, loss, anxiety, and subsequently depression in its own very particular way. I did feel like I had lost everything, even though I was well reassured that I would get this all back. The point of this is that things like this cause terror, it causes fear, and it causes hopelessness. And if you guys just need to understand where my mentality has been with that, it's just that was the culmination. All my feelings had just come down to that. And a lot of my reactions come down to how emotional of a person I am. But with that kind of emotion, I'm also a bit of a comedian. When I finally see a little bit of light of hope, I will begin to laugh as much as I possibly can. And quite luckily, once again, thanks to all of you who hung out with me over on Twitter, as I started a Twitter space for the very first time to kind of just talk to you and get your thoughts. And I had some wonderful conversations with a couple of individuals that are fans, and hopefully I get to do more of that in the future. To which, in ever the case that something like this does ever happen again, please follow the link down below and follow me over on Twitter. Or if you ever need to, just go ahead and follow me or join our Discord, because you will always have immediate contact with me and updates and everything that is happening, not just only for a situation like this, but also subsequently for how to be an adventurer and whenever I'm coming out with a video, or say I'm doing something exciting. Just want to let you guys know. And if you want to, just follow the links down below And I want to give everybody that did come by and give me a follow, which we're getting very close to about 3,000 followers now, for doing so. So thank you guys so much. So what is the lesson in all this? Well, there are quite a few, but a fellow YouTuber, somebody that I actually follow and watch and really enjoy his content, is Chef PK, who had told me that it'd be important to get a universal two-factor key, which is a USB key that you will have on your person whenever you need to access your accounts. You can use it while you are out and away or when you're at home. I'm going to be getting one of these keys because I have learned my lesson to not trust two-factor authentication when it comes to cell phones anymore. I need to make sure that in ever the case that something like this could potentially happen, that there is a stopgap between a hacker and my channel. So thank you, Chef BK, for trying to reach out to me. You have been an absolute wonderful joy. I really enjoy your cooking videos and all your anime-based cooking videos. I really hope one day that I get to sit down and have a meal with you. I really, really do. And also I need to give another shout out to my friend Dai Tomodachi, who had given me the links and the forms and everything that I needed in order to get my channel back in less than 24 hours. He has been an absolutely amazing friend. I love him so freaking much. Please do give him some love and make sure that you know that I sent you. Also, on top of that, I want to, just say to all my personal friends, as well as my girlfriend, who was just there in order to kind of keep my head on straight. I love you very, very much. You've really kept this this little bag of stress, this bag of bone of stress, well and together. So there's that. And to all my content creator friends, make sure you do what I usually do, is that I change the password once every 6 months, and as well as make sure that your two-factor authentication is on, or think about finally getting one of a universal two-factor key to make sure that your channels are secure. This isn't the first time that this will happen, since it happened to my friend Daito, happened to a fellow associate, Slick Goku, and I know it happened to Corridor Digital, it happened to Genja Ninja. I know it will happen to literally anyone, so please take the steps to secure your account for the future. And I just pray to God that nobody ever has to deal with this kind of stress ever again. Now, on to the point where I said I was going to criticize YouTube. YouTube, I deeply appreciate that you guys managed to get my channel back as fast as you did. It was absolutely astounding. I fucking love that you were able to respond as quickly as you did, and with a chat function that is very useful. But in ever the case like this, where I wish that we were less reactive and more proactive in a situation like this, I really recommend thinking about trying to reach out to content creators for how they might be able to bolster the security for their channels, not just only having to use a key, but also in ever the case that there needs to be a back channel in ever the case that something like this ever happens again, because it's not going to just stop. Unless you figure out how to get rid of hackers, there is no way to stop this. And so, to YouTube, please create at least some other back channel that isn't just, hey, find a link from some place that's in the help section that is extremely obscure, to find a way to contact one of our support members. Even a cell phone number where we could get properly directed might be useful. Just an automated message that would say, hey, if you need a very particular way to reach out to us, follow these very specific instructions. That would be extremely useful. I'm not saying that we should call somebody directly to support. I'm just saying, hey, have a call line to where it will give us instructions to go to this very specific place, because it was very difficult to find unless Daito had told me where to find it. Considering that most content creators never had to face this kind of situation, something like that might be very important. On the odd end, this is where I'm going to also continue to criticize YouTube, is that when a channel faces a situation like this, it means that channels will also face mass unsubscriber waves. And that can be a detriment to a channel, because the algorithm will see that the channel has a derogatory mark for what has recently happened, especially if it got hacked. You need to recognize, or at least tell the algorithm to recognize, that when a channel is getting hacked, that it does not place derogatory marks onto the channel. And due to this, I imagine that my views are going to sink before I manage to climb back up to where I want to be. Given that, I just want you to recognize that your algorithm is very, very touchy, and something like this can be extremely detrimental to the growth of a YouTube channel, which is something that I know that you desperately want to promote. I have been very critical of YouTube over the years, and this is one of those very few criticisms that I really wish that they would recognize. Small derogatory marks for videos not ultimately succeeding should never be a derogatory mark to the next video in hopes that it might succeed. You just never know. Unfortunately, luck has nothing to do with it. It has everything to do now with a computer that determines whether or not a video should be popular. And that's it. And with derogatory marks that are placed on a channel, that can negatively affect the growth of said channel. All right. So, with that being said, I have given all my criticisms to YouTube. I've given my fair warnings over to my fellow content creators and friends, and I've also given a lot of my thank yous, and also as much information I could possibly give about the whole hacking situation. So, with that being said, I have nothing else to say. Thank you all so very much for stopping by. Thank you for having to hear what I have to hear. I love you all so very much. Once again, follow me over on Twitter, join our Discord, and hopefully I will see you all in the next video. Laters.